Hey community, here's what's brewing today.
Usher's Superbowl.
Slow ghosting.
Slow ghosting for me. Slow ghosting for me.
I like that. Right. And Ask Yo Aunteas, African American friends. So get your cups ready for Minority Report. I had to say it right.
It was a tone. It was a tone. Hey, welcome to Minority Report. It's Auntie Jerrell.
It's Auntie Dwan.
And it's Auntie Jerrell.
Hey, ladies. And you know what? I've been meaning to say this the last few episodes. It just came to mind too. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. Like, we've seen the numbers go up. So welcome. Thank you for finding us. Let us know how you found us and all that stuff. Subscribe to your family and friends and all that good stuff. But I've been meaning to say that.
Let me tell you, honestly, y'all, we don't really jump right in. We kind of pick up where we start off camera. So that's why we be forgetting, because we be talking about all sorts of things outside of it.
It'd be a whole other set of conversations that be going on right before we hop on this podcast.
It really does. It's like the second I'm like, oh man, I don't even know what we're going to talk about. I don't know. You're like, yeah, not much been going on. Bitch, we find a way. We hop on this mic and it'd be showtime, bitch.
And even when it's just the two of us, somehow we find time to fill the hole.
Look, our freestyle game is on point.
On point.
Period.
And you know what's the weird thing? I find, even though even at work, like, I guess presentations have never really bothered me, but I find it's helped even that aspect of my life too, in a weird way. Like just the ad-libbing and the because sometimes here you just gotta think on your feet and whatever kind of comes to mind, but and reformulating just thoughts and ideas in the moment. Mm-hmm. It's helped by, like, I guess my other professional life or whatever, is bizarre. And I'm like, okay, podcast, come on.
You know what? Now that you say that, I could say the same thing, especially when I'm teaching and I'm like talking with people and I'm like trying to like use analogies or like get my point across or like just try to communicate what I'm there to teach for the day. I find myself like the words are forming in my head and they're just kind of spewing out. I'm like, how does she get this comfortable? She's been doing this for a year and a half, girl.
Right.
Like,
it's like, come on, Minority Report. Yes, bitch. So thank you, community, for rocking with us. I guess it's a long story short, but appreciate you.
I've been in this conversation game for a very, very, very long time. So,
that's true. Like,
just slid right on it.
She said, welcome. Come on in.
Welcome to the club.
Welcome to Auntie Shar's corner.
But what I just got to call it out because, she the queen of sliding in talk about sliding in. She the queen of sliding in a couple of little shady moments here and there. And,
bitch.
And the community
a few.
And the best part about it is too, like when you were talking last week and I was like, I can't. I just time out. Everyone said like, oh, that bitch. She was over here trying to be slid it right in there.
And thing is, she be doing it like when she's having like such a serious, poignant moment. Like she'd be like da 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 da, and you like, bitch, you had to be that shady that quick.
Sometimes you just gotta let the dolls know. You just gotta let the dolls know, and those that catch it. Like, those that don't,
the way you read sometimes have people like question like, was that a read or was it advice? I don't.
Right. It's like, I don't
what
even know.
Was it? Ouch. Like, it's like a delayed slap, like in some of the telenovelas when they didn't like slap you and they're like, very
literally. It's seriously that. And my guy sister listen be having this. She'd be like, them drive through shame moments. I'm like, I know. He'd be like, real. He'd be like, damn, I don't even know what went past me.
I must be old school because that's just how that's how the old dolls
old
threw shade. It's like Paris is Burning, where she says, I don't have to tell you you're ugly because you already know that you're ugly.
And it must be because Corey was on the couch when I was editing that clip, and Corey's like, yeah, he's like, half that show couldn't act. And he just left it at that. I was like, damn.
A few.
I was like, jeez. So he agreed with you. And honestly, we started watching Pose again. We started from the first season. And
Ooh.
God, Corey's just as bad as you. He was like, God, that guy that played Damon can't act for shit. He's like, I forgot how bad he was. I was like, damn.
It's so wild because like when you like there's so few shows out there that showcase us and showcase melanin, and so you'd be so hyped for just a show that you really overlook the talent. You're just like, we glad we got presents, we're at the table. Girl.
Or some be the opposite. Maybe the bar be too high, and they be like, "It's a no."
That's
for
not
me.
it. It ain't
It ain't it. Some of us just be okay just to see somebody that look like us on TV, while others like, you can go off the stage.
It's like you can put that on Tubi or whatever.
Not Tubi, bitch. I see that clip circulating from Tubi where like the wife's the girl comes in, she's all like, "Pick me, we can have a life together," and the wife comes and he's all like, "This is my wife." And she pulls out the gun and the delayed shoot of shooting the wife, the husband, and then there's the little girl. She goes, "But I'm just a kid," and she pops the little girl too.
Tubi be reckless and just
horrible. Like you can see the little like the Batman pow behind to represent the gun going off.
Somebody on Instagram called it the new Nigeria Bollywood because them Nigerian movies.
honey, a word,
baby.
A word.
They be making them movies. They be making them Nigerian movies on paintbrush.
Not Microsoft Paintbrush.
Stop. But you know what cracks me up though? As our people eat them movies up. Our people let me tell you, the amount of siblings and cousins that literally have been posting about Tubi and some of those African movies and stuff like that, they be eating it up. They really do.
Because we as a culture think that shit is funny as hell, but we still gonna support it. Like we get them to be shady as fuck. That's why we're watching it.
Yeah.
We're like, you know what, this sucks, but we're about to be shady as fuck, and it's fun to watch. It is what it is. So that's hilarious. But speaking of Pose though, community, you might want to stay tuned the next week. That's all I'm gonna say. That's it.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Just be present. Be present. Be ready next week.
You know what? Invite your family and friends. Be like, ooh, you know what? Minority Report about to have a nice little episode next week. Stay tuned. Yes. Here you go. Here's how you subscribe. Follow us on YouTube if you haven't hit the bell button or the subscribe button and all that good stuff. Do so. Now's a very good time to do so.
Very good time.
Once this episode goes up, you know what's up. So
one of the few.
Oh man. One of the few. But well, community, literally last week, by the time we talked about thinking it was going to be Destiny Child and NSYNC for the Super Bowl, by the time the episode, they already released who it's going to be, and our episode came out the next day, so too late.
Too late.
But it's Usher, baby.
It's Usher.
Yeah.
Not mad at the decision at all.
You know, I will say this. First of all, we had a conversation about Usher just like a few months ago.
Yeah.
We really did. We were talking about how we stand and how we still like remember where we were with certain videos and stuff like that.
And how Usher was like the biggest thing on earth.
For real. Like really, really is. I will say that I just love the committee behind these halftime performances.
Thank you, Thank you, Beyonce's husband.
Absolutely, because let me tell you, if these niggas gonna put on a show for you, we also get to be the halftime performance as well.
Period.
Yeah.
Period.
Yep.
So
we don't have our pocketbooks then.
Right. This is a full circle moment.
We'll help our pocketbooks.
Absolutely. Go ahead and have a bathroom break. Y'all will be all right. But the amount of rage I've been seeing about Usher, people like, oh, he don't got no music, oh, he don't be doing anything. I'm just like, because you white people are only listening to songs about cardigans, red Solo cups, some stupid ass boots,
vampires,
some cowboy hats,
and all that.
vampires, and some other random ass shit, right? Y'all ain't talking about nothing. Y'all ain't singing about nothing. So why y'all gonna be the halftime show?
But low key, we was talking about Tubi. Usher might have been the original Tubi with Confessions.
I can't with you.
These are my confessions.
I hate you. I hate you. Look. I hate you.
And that shit with Diamond. That shit with Diamond plus we was eating up there.
You
might be
lying
about that.
You ain't. Quit playing with me right now. Are you for real?
We was like, ooh, is it Chili's baby? Is it Chili's baby? Bitch. I remember them rumors back then. It was like, damn, is Chili pregnant? Well, I thought they broke up.
You absolutely right. You absolutely right. And clearly he's killing it still because he's doing his Vegas residency again as well. So I mean,
and then he's doing like a residency in Paris like right now as well. Like don't play with Usher. Y'all play with Usher if you want to.
Yeah, sleep on him you want to.
And there's a lot of residencies that are going on right now that I had even no idea that's happening. Like Gaga residency, like
the jazz one,
right. Like there were just so many things that are happening.
Still on that
right
damn
now.
piano.
No, she got like an orchestra and shit. I think she might play a little bit, but
I need some rah-rah. I need some
some meat dress.
Girl, I need
meat dress Gaga.
Something else.
But here's how my brain works. Like literally last night, dreamt Usher at the Super Bowl, like and like all the songs that it should be and all that thing. Like it's bizarre how my brain works, like just the music part of it. So literally in my dream, I had him coming down. I don't even know where he was coming down from. Now think about it, the dream just be making shit up.
Look, Gaga flew in. Gaga flew in from the ceiling, so
it almost looked like maybe like one of the Rihanna stages, but it brought him down to a regular stage, and it like you don't have the call was like the open the number. So let's see if you don't got a call, it will be the open the number to fulfill my dream in my head.
I love that Frank Gatson commented on the fact about Rihanna's halftime show, literally, pun intended, elevating the performance experience. Like so many people have utilized so much of the floor space, and now I'm very curious to see, like, on the heels of that, what is Usher gonna do? Like, because production, I think he's got songs, he's got performance, but production value would be very interesting to see what he brings to the table, to see like what the whole set looks like.
I wonder how much of it's going to be like a copy and paste from his Vegas residency.
I hope not.
Even though, like, I like the stuff that I've seen, I hope not.
Not y'all in unison over here.
Well, we work together this weekend, so maybe we're cycling.
Right. We still our periods still synced up. Yeah, no, like the Vegas show is very distinctly what it needed to be for Vegas. I hope he does something.
Have you seen
else. Just like the clips online.
Okay.
No, I wanted to see, but them tickets on resale were like $3,000, $4,000. It was crazy.
Clearly, he doing it. Look, I just saw an article about him choosing not to serenade Gabrielle Union right next to Dwayne. He was like, and kept on going in the crowd. He was like,
I know better.
I know better. Look, I see, bro. Y'all cute.
Right.
I respect y'all.
Right. We see each other. Yeah, man. But what songs have to be on his set list? Or I'll say this: what 3 songs of like that you love of his has to be on this set list? You know they only get 13 minutes. They get.
Let me tell you,
minutes.
For me, No Limit. Make you say, no limit, baby. Hey.
I love that song. It ain't gonna be on the set list, but that's a bop of a song.
Look. And I like his new song, Good too. Like, look, it's growing me like
with Little Summer Walker having several
right. They say right time, wrong place. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
I was like, I know that's right.
Yeah, the thing is like I hope, because like he's gonna drop an album the same day, he said, like, and it's called Coming Home. So like they already put the pre-album and everything on almost called it iTunes, Apple Music, and I just hope it's not overly new music. That would be a huge mistake for your catalog and your legacy. Get that catalog back up and out there. The new music will do what the new music has to do, but nobody know the new music.
That's a real that's a real statement.
Like 110 million people watching. Bitch, we don't want good.
I mean, with Lil Jon. With Lil Jon. That's for sure.
Yeah. I like know if it's not bringing like formation level, if it's not bringing formation level, because Beyonce did that with formation, right?
Yes.
Like if it's not that good,
exactly.
Don't do
Keep
it.
that shit on the
Don't
album.
do it. If you know, niggas ain't gonna be singing this all the way up here.
Right. No.
Yeah. Keep it on the album. Keep it on the album.
And he's not at Beyonce level anymore, unfortunately. Like he's like.
No.
There's very few people that be able to drop the song the day before, then the next day performing at the Super Bowl. Did y'all see
that set list that said like Usher comes in, he sings like You Don't Got to Call, you sing something, and then Bad Girl and Beyonce comes out, and then Usher leaves the stage, and then it's I'm That Girl, it's Alien Superstar, Cozy. It's just a Beyonce concert.
Somebody said the Beehive ain't shit.
The Beehive literally said, sorry to this man.
Sorry to this man. That took over your set list.
Girl.
I was like, I wouldn't be mad. But no, Bad Girl ain't gonna be on there either.
Yeah.
It has to be You Ain't Got a Call, You Make Me Wanna.
I would love to hear Love in the Club.
Love in this club. Hey. Right. In this club. In his club.
Yeah.
Right.
He got some bops.
But he'll probably do some of his stuff that he did with David Guetta as well, too.
He got my.
Yeah. Well, that was with Will.i.am. Yeah, with Will.i.am. That will definitely be in there.
Oh, what's the other one? Damn, what's this one?
Without You. It's Without You.
Without You.
Oh, yeah.
Without You.
Yeah, because he got to cater to the white people.
Yes, he do. Right. Yeah. Yeah, so he'll do
people
some
forget
of those.
that all them black people had that EDM moment.
All of them.
Like from like 2008 to like 2012. Neo and all of them.
And I literally tell to my white friends, because they be going to them concerts, they be like, them festivals, they be like, Joy, you should come. I'm like, do they got lyrics?
That's what I need.
Are there some words to it? Because if ain't, it ain't for me. And I actually liked those songs back then.
Oh yeah, it was fire.
I'm remember when we went to the Janet Jackson concert and Luda had opened for him, and I had forgot how many bangers
Luda was like,
he
Luda was on
had. I would love to see him like be a part of this halftime show, because like
he'll probably come out to yeah was too big of a song for him not to come out to.
That could be fire.
Yeah. I want to see if he's going to either do Lovers and Friends or My Boo. Like, which Blackity Black anthem that we love singing along with is he going to sneak in there? He probably can't get away with both of them.
He can only have one. He can.
So which one is it going to be? Sade. Is it going to be that? Or is it going to be My Boo? I don't know which one.
one. Ooh. I feel like it'll be Lovers and Friends, because Lovers and Friends actually be in Vegas as well too.
Yeah.
So
I know the other EDM one that is gonna be DJ's got us falling in love again.
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
That's gonna be on there.
Baby tonight.
Yeah, that was gonna be on there. That was gonna be on there.
God.
But the one that I know probably won't be on there, but it's probably my top 3 Usher songs, is Climax. I still listen to that album.
Oh, girl.
Baby. That whole album.
Love that song. Yes.
It's my favorite Usher album.
Yep,
favorite
Usher
album.
Yep. He was singing his face off on that album.
Oh my God. And Diplo made that song. Diplo produced
Really?
that song.
Diplo?
Diplo produced that
Oh,
song.
that sounded like there was some dangling happening in that.
Hey, I'll watch. And then obviously the slow songs, he's got to do like Confessions. He's got to do. I don't know if he's gonna do You Got It Bad or Let It Burn. I don't like. There's thing is, people forget how many songs Usher had. So,
he'll probably do Little
all
Freak
this
with Nicki Minaj. Be my little freak. Yeah, that one.
If anything, it might be one of those moments where he. Like, because he's gonna have to have some moments where it'll be a song of his and he's singing another song of his on top of it, or like some kind of interlude like that to switch between songs.
But he'll also have someone. He'll also have someone on there. Like, I feel like he'll have some songs with features of people that he will bring onto the stage. So that's
Nicki?
why.
Would that entertain us? I mean, I like Nicki, but was Nicki entertaining enough for the halftime show? She might actually get a halftime show.
I mean, but when I think about the people that he's done a lot of collabs with, Nicki's probably the only one that can actually have like an entertainment moment that would just be like boom. And she has the barbs and she has the fandom behind her too. That would bring some excitement to it. So,
and I did think this year she was going to get it because she got the Barbie or Pink Print 2 coming out.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like he'll pick Luda over Nicki.
Yeah,
with just too big of a massive song.
I don't see him just doing one. I don't see him just bringing one person out. I see him bringing two. Because again, with him being more R&B and having like more slower songs, a lot of his faster paced songs are featuring other people. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying, like, I think he will actually bring probably two people out on stage.
He's gonna do You Remind Me. You remind me of that girl that I once knew. Ooh, that was a bop. Damn. Yeah, we done named like 25 songs.
Look.
He ain't gonna be able to fit them all in.
All I know is I can't wait. I'm excited.
They call me
USHERRAYMYMOND. Back when they were spelling everything out, bitch. Look.
Damn. Literally, it's gonna make me just sit here and listen to a whole Usher catalog.
Look.
People will sleep
I would do it. I would do it.
Well, community, let us know. Let us know what songs you need Usher to perform and which ones you're going to be upset if he doesn't perform, you know? Because he just got too many out there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Daddy's home. Whatever the fuck he said.
Wait, did we say There Goes My Baby as well, too?
Turn the lights on.
There goes my baby. Yeah. Ooh, girl. Look at you. Baby, let me tell you.
Usher was singing. I should be singing.
Yeah, he do.
I should be singing.
He do.
I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, and I'm now looking at all the lists. I'm like, damn, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I mean, Superstar.
I'll be a groupie, baby.
Oh, God.
Because you are my superstar. Hey, I'm your number one fan. Give me your autograph. Show me the keys to your heart. Because I'll be...
You want a body roll? If you want a body roll, it
really do. It really do.
Seriously.
Let me tell you.
That's how you know.
You know what? I want to say this too. I am also excited to see the level of I just can't wait to just watch Black women enjoy the Super Bowl performance, because they're gonna be up with their drink in their hand, two-stepping. Like,
I just need Usher to do the chain swirl too. That's all I need right there. Woo. Yeah, man. I can't. I'm caught up. Man, he was caught up. Like, it's too many. It's too many. It's too many. It's too many. Don't sleep on Usher ever again, hoes.
Ever. Well, speaking of performances, I mean, Beyonce in Houston this past weekend, or a week ago after this comes out.
And Meg The Stallion was every Beehive member ever.
Bitch, she was everybody. Let me tell you.
She didn't even care that she was a superstar in her own damn right.
This is the part that I laughed and I was like, my soul, when she was like, and like spun around in that circle.
She
like,
didn't even know what to do. She was like, I don't even know what to do right now. I don't even know what to do.
What is life right now?
She did better the second night. The second night, she was like, okay, I'm a little more composed. I'm a little more composed.
Let me tell you, I live for all of that the first night because
1000%.
Because if anyone follows Meg knows that she's always talked about how much she loves Beyonce.
1000.
Even when they won the Grammy for Savage, when she got up there with Beyonce, she was like, first of all, I want to thank you, Beyonce, because me and my mom love Beyonce. And everyone would be asking me, who you want to be collab with? I said, Beyonce. Like, everyone knows how much she stands for Beyonce. So that reaction was so authentic. And I love that. Because let me tell you, I'm gonna do that same thing if I meet Beyonce. Oh! Hey girl! Look,
like, because it's the manifestation of it too. Like,
yes,
I'm sure all of that was like coming up to her. Like, because if you watch her IG, she was talking about how she was just like crying all day. Because it's just even the manifestation of like your idol, and you have made it big enough to collab with her. And then be on like the biggest stage on earth, the biggest opportunity on earth. That's fucking trippy, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
and one of 2 guest performance of the whole entire tour as well.
Well, 3. You can't forget Miss Ross now. Come on now.
Yeah.
Who? Oh, Miss that. But that wasn't a performance. That wasn't a performance. That was a happy birthday song. That was not a performance.
On the stage.
I'm talking about a performance, okay? That was a happy birthday. That was not the same thing.
Well, no, she did her song too. She did her song.
But I'm talking about performing with Beyonce though.
Oh, okay.
Right? Okay. Like that's what I'm talking about.
Got it. I was about to say,
don't
only one. Discount this. I love
I'm not counting Diana Ross because that was a birthday gift. That was like something for the birthday. That was not something specific for the tour.
I had to talk for the Diana Ross stands out there.
Hey, and yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's about to gather us.
Actually, guess what? Well, hold on. I love me Diana Ross because what was the movie? I just watched this movie with her and Brandy. I just watched it like 3 days ago. When Diana Ross played her mom, Brandy's mom.
What's the name of that?
It's on Hulu. I just watched it 3 days ago. I can't remember the name of it, but. Don't get me wrong, I'm a Diana Ross fan too. Like I do like Diana Ross, but she's not part of the tour itself. She's for Beyonce's birthday.
Double platinum.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
But yeah, so I mean, I just think that's really awesome. I think that was just really amazing, and honestly, I don't think I would have handled myself any differently.
Here's the thing, originally Meg was probably only supposed to be there one night. Beyonce's like, bitch, I'm recording. I need you to compose yourself.
Yeah.
Come back out here tomorrow night. Okay, fucking up, screaming. I get it. I know who I am. I get it. You better get your ass out here tomorrow and reshake that shit.
But I heard night 2 was the night that they were going to be originally recording before. Because you notice there has been less posts about night 2 than there was about night 1. Even on a lot of the other accounts too, as well.
Yeah, so we'll see. It's crazy that the tours. I guess by the time probably this episode comes out,
it'll be done. Yeah.
Or I guess it'll be done today release. I think Kansas City might be today, Monday,
October 1st. Yeah.
So today. Yeah. So damn.
I know. Great. I looked at them prices because I was like, again, I just started 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Still going through.
I know.
$5,000 for Club Renaissance tickets.
And I'm so mad because like Corey and I looked at it months ago. We're like, let's get them now. If
they were cheap. They were cheap. And
we're like, oh, maybe we should. We were like, bitch, we just spent so much in New York. And we should have did it because we both feeling to go again.
But you know what it is? It's the amount of people from the U.S. that have seen it that are like going through the withdrawals and like, bitch, I got to see her again.
Yep.
And honestly, that ended up being the cheaper of any of the other dates, and people just snatched them bitches right the fuck up.
Yeah,
it's true. That's true. I know. So, I was talking to our friend Josh. Hey, Josh, if you listen to Boo, and normally he is. And he's like, yeah, I've been having FOMO. I was like, bitch, you from Houston. Why did you go? I was like, she was right there in Dallas, and you from Houston.
Yeah.
And I don't think he went. I was like, that's okay, Boo. Watch it on the YouTubes.
Like the rest, like everybody else.
Like the rest of us still doing it.
Girl. Like I never been. Like I didn't even
never
see
seen
her
it twice
live.
and watched like every clip like 9,000 times.
This is
Girl, I've been
like
looking for that.
this
Go
is
for it,
like
baby.
this is like the like our version of like the Million Man March, or like, you know, like the like it's such a culture movement, and like the fact that it's been going on for like damn near a year and a half, and
Yeah.
like people are still just like catching their like ever living lives through this. This
Mhm.
is a culture moment that will live
Mhm.
for a very, very, very long
Yeah.
time, for
Mhm.
sure.
Beyonce got her own rock sign. Like Jay got the rock. Beyonce
Mhm.
got this now. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
Wait,
it's
why I was
wild.
teaching these kids today?
Uh-oh.
I was teaching these kids today, and this young student was like, she was like, Beyonce is the greatest of y'all time, but the greatest of our time is SZA. And I was like, oh,
Mm.
I said, you can't be the greatest with only 2 albums, baby. And I also said, and I was like, and I just want you to know, SZA's my age. So she ain't even part of your generation.
That's what I was about to say. That's a whole ass word. People don't even realize that since a 35.
Like, we the same age.
So no, Beyonce's
even
still the
then-
greatest of SZA's generation. Don't get it twisted.
and no shades of
And I
SZA,
like
'cause
SZA.
I love SZA. Like, let me tell you, if you saw my Apple Music like top 25, both of their albums
Yeah.
consume not my top 25, my top 100 songs of 2023, both of their albums consume
Yeah.
Most
a
of
third
it.
of it.
Wow.
But
So,
don't
look,
ever say that shit.
But no.
No.
Right. Right. And
These-
also, if you ain't been to the Renaissance tour, you can't have any conversations about the greatest because you're missing out on the greatest. Okay.
Yeah.
This is like people like our parents' generations and some of us who didn't get the chance to see Michael Jackson. Like not being able to say I didn't get to see Michael Jackson. Like, this is gonna be one of those moments. Some people are gonna be
Yeah.
mad that
Yeah.
they didn't get to see Beyonce in this tour.
Yep. And plus
What do you
millennials,
say about these youngins?
they stay wanting to be something, but they ain't shit.
What? Oh damn! You talking to Jerrell and Carell? Damn,
Wait, it was Gen Z talking about this girl, not us. What you mean?
us.
Girl,
You know.
what we do?
Welcome you see she be sharing us too. Shit.
Girl. I was like,
well, damn. Well, wash your hands, wash your hands. This is the
Yeah.
last episode of Minority Report, I guess.
Because we ain't shit.
Oh, Jesus. Well, damn. I don't even know what to say.
You know
after
what?
that.
She called us youthful. That's what she was thinking. She was thinking about
Thank you,
them,
darling.
which is the
Thank you.
generation after us. But she said, all y'all down there.
All y'all.
That was an
Yeah.
ice movement. All y'all young people.
That's it.
She said, I said what I said. She said, I said what I said. Well, damn. But yeah, no, don't put SZA in there. I'm trying to think, who is SZA? I mean, she's of our generation, but like I'm trying to think who came out like 15 years ago that we could even put SZA like comparably to. I mean, because SZA has actually really carved out her own kind of lane.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking of like celebrity status wise or icon level. She. I'm trying to think who. I don't even know who did. I don't know.
Yeah, not to that level.
No,
that's that level. No,
not yet.
Everyone
At
I
least.
think about,
Not yet.
everyone,
Yeah.
right? And everyone I can think of is just like people that we hype within our community,
Right.
That's been doing it for a while. Because I think of like Jasmine Sullivan, like she's been doing
Right.
this for like a decade as well. Sing her face off, but she's not charting.
I think
up there
SZA.
like
I think
SZA.
SZA might be more popular than Jasmine Sullivan, honestly.
Oh no, I would absolutely
Yeah.
agree. Because the
Yeah.
white people know her. The white people don't know Jasmine.
Yeah.
So like when we talk about the masses,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know who to even compare it to. And she's doing
Yeah.
quite well, but she ain't Beyonce.
Yeah.
So anyway, quickly, community bulletin board, Jerrell. You had a little update or comment based on last week's Ask Yo Aunteas. And if you haven't listened to last week's, you should probably go listen to it because it was a good one. The person ruined Renaissance for the person, which is crazy. But yeah, so listen to last week's episode and then maybe come back to this community bulletin board real quick.
Yeah, I just wanted to just have a quick little follow because I had a few people reach out and ask or just make some comments based off of the Ask Yo Auntie last week about, maybe the friend who got mad had like outgrown their friend. And so maybe that's why they're not reaching back out. And Corell, I think you were also hinting to that as well too. But it also struck up the conversation of, like people need to realize that at some point, some people will potentially outgrow you. Like kind of what Dewan was saying, seasons, like your journey will come to an end with certain people. And some people don't know how to take that without getting mad or getting defensive or getting angry and placing that towards people, right? Because what you see happens is someone is going on, they're still growing and becoming who they're supposed to be, and life is happening for them, and you're not including those happy moments like you used to be. Like you're not the person they call and they texting all the time. And some people start getting mad, like, oh, you think you better than me? Oh, just because you got that funky ass job at Amazon now, you think you big and bad, or because you live over here now, you're not in the ghetto anymore, you think you better than and stuff like that, and really want to start getting mad. And I feel like that's not a conversation that people also have often about, like, what happens when you're in the receiving end? What happens when someone outgrows you? How do you process that?
Yeah. Step your pussy up.
Let it go. Let them go.
Because the cold ain't bothering them anyway. Yeah, that's an interesting question. Because I guess I would hope to like to think that I'm also growing. But I'm sure there might be somebody out there that's like, oh, I'm not in the same space as Corrupt. I'm beyond that. I don't know. I guess I never even thought about it that way. Because I guess I'm always one that it's just like, if I do see somebody grow, I'm like, ooh, let me try to get some knowledge. I'm not hating on nobody. Like I'm not that spirit never really comes from me.
But also
so
there's
I don't know.
there's this thing where it doesn't necessarily mean that the other person is like elevating, like like it's a competition, like who's gonna elevate more. Like sometimes you grow apart, and so it's not really, at least in my experience, when I've grown apart with friends, people that I've been close with and rocked with or whatever, and for some reason, like we're not like that. It's like, okay, all right, well, what are we gonna do?
Right. And I guess that's the point that I'm asking, like because when I think growing apart, I think like it's a mutual thing, right? But what if it's not mutual? What if you
Not
are
always.
like, hey, like I feel good, but the person that I was close with like that, they start growing apart? Because I mean, I can understand how some people can feel hurt, right? Because what happens when that normally happens, right? You stop texting, you stop calling, you stop showing up, right? It turns into a form of ghosting.
It's the slow ghost.
Yeah, it really is. And in that slow ghost, I feel like that's where that anger starts to come in, or where people might start feeling like, like they got an issue, or, maybe that's where people start like finding reasons to pick so that they have a reason and it doesn't become a slow ghost, right? Like, I'm just curious as to like how people process that.
That's interesting because I have never ended a friendship or like anyone that I've been associated with really on a bad note. So I feel like even folks that maybe I've like grown apart just because maybe I've moved away or just life be lifing or they got kids, I don't, whatever it may be. I feel like I could probably pick up the phone now and catch back up and it'd still be on good terms. And it's just simply because life be life and there's only so much capacity like that you can hold on to like friendship. And it doesn't mean like there's ill will. Like you were important to me at one point in life, and honestly, like in my soul and being, still important. It's just like it's not an everyday thing, and so I don't think I honestly have ended on a bad note for someone that I consider a friend. someone that I would rock with, that to the point where I couldn't call them up now and be like, hey, I know we haven't talked in 10 years or whatever it may be. They'll be like, dang, good to hear from you, and vice versa. And it's not like a ill will or, oh, Carell thought he was better for me, or at least that I know of, and vice versa. I don't think there's someone else that I'm like, oh, that person outgrew me, da 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 da. At least luckily in my life, I don't feel like I have that situation, so I can't even really speak on it, honestly.
There's a vast majority of people out there that the way that they move on is through discontent. Think about relationships. Like, oh, we can't, like, how many people do you know, friends wise or family wise or whatever, that's in your circle that when they break up with someone, they break up amicably, consistently?
Yeah.
Not a lot. In part because, and I'm not saying that this is not an absolute, but what I'm saying is that there are a lot of people that don't know how to transition.
Yeah.
So even when, even in relationships, like intimate relationships, they don't know how to break up amicably. They don't, it's almost like a lot of people need a blow up, in order to justify we're not together anymore. And I feel like that trickles into a lot of like friendship relationships as well. Like, oh, this person is just like you were saying, Jerrell, like, they're pulling away and then I'm getting my feelings because they're pulling away and we're not always together. And then that becomes an issue. And instead of just recognizing that, okay, well, maybe we really just are growing apart, and that can be okay. And if we get together, we get together. And if we don't, we're going to go. If I'm reaching out and they're not reciprocating, there's some context clues that's letting me know that either, to your point, Carell, life is lifing and they just have a bunch of stuff going on and they'll get back with me when they can, or they're not really rocking me with me like that. And it's okay to let that go. And not everything needs to be a conversation. You don't need a conversation to have closure either. Like, that's a myth. You can just move on.
Yeah. And I feel like everything doesn't have to be that deep either. Like, I feel like we want to read into things just because either people told us we got to read into something, or a movie taught us that, or you saw your family members did that. I don't think we have to.
No.
And maybe that's how I've always approached it. I'm like, why would I want to add more angst and shit into my life when there's so much other shit out there? Like, I'm not going to read too deeply and stuff. If they don't ever get back to me, cool. Like, I'm going to, at least from the jump, especially if I like spent a lot of time with them and considered them a friend and it didn't end badly, we haven't had like an argument or blow up, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that like life is life and or whatever. Even if it's 3 years, okay, cool. Like, my life is going on. I'm not taking it any kind of way, one way or the other, at least for me. So I don't know.
I think there's two sides to the coin, right? Because I think some people are fine without closure, but I think some people do need closure, right? Especially when we're talking about friendships and relationships that are intertwined with our lives. Like, sometimes these friends have been around for like important milestones and moments in our life where, a lot of our identity or how we came to understand who we are is ingrained with key moments of them, right? So sometimes it's not just as easy as like, well, okay, cool. Like, if this is someone you're talking to every day, y'all kicking it every weekend, y'all been on trips, y'all done met each other families and stuff like that. To me personally, like, if it's at that point of a friendship, I want to have the conversation, because if I know, hey, then to give you space, hey, you out there focusing, I want to support you in that, right? But I feel like if that's something that I've gone out my way to show up for you, and your response is to say fuck you and not give me the chance to support you in the way that you need to, then I'm gonna be upset, because now that means that how we viewed the friendship was on two different ways, and now I feel like you weren't honest with me, right? Because if you understood me as a friend, that you knew that I would give you the space that you need to grow and go even your different direction, and like you said, talk to you in 3 years and be like, how you been? Like, I know you were out there, getting them coins. I know you was out there going to school. You've been, working 60 hours a week, blah, 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 right? But to ghost on someone that you call like a best friend, or someone that you've been there and have these life moments for, I don't think that's appropriate thing to do.
So like, let me even maybe back up. Like, I guess I'm maybe lost on the ghosting part. So is it like, you just like, oh, hey friend, like da 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 da, and just like you talk every day, and then out the blue, just the next day is ghost for 3 years?
No, it's just like we said a slow ghost. We said a slow ghost. Where you go from doing all that, and then all of a sudden
you
you just see.
just because like I like, at least in my situation and the friends I've made along the way, I'm going to give them that benefit of doubt because I don't think it's an ill will moment saying, oh, well, like I don't like, especially because I'm not ending on bad terms with no one. Like last conversation we had ain't been some ill crazy shit. So I don't know. I don't know.
But
I
it's
guess I just don't need that closure. And actually, it's not even a closure thing though for me because like I literally with certain people, I can pick up the phone now and we cool still. Like, and it's just literally I moved away. It's just like the juxtaposition isn't as close as it used, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So maybe it's just you
Hopefully,
haven't been in a situation
and
to
hopefully
like.
somebody's feeling that way out there. Let me know because it ain't no ill
Maybe
shit on my
somebody did
end.
that to you and you just didn't even. I'm like, oh well, I thought we were.
And I guess in that case, my life kept going, and your life kept going, and the world keeps turning, and
it worked out for everybody.
The other side of that coin is there are a lot of people that think they have intimate relationships with others, and the other person don't think that much of them.
Yeah.
So, like, what you were saying, Jerrell, around, oh, well, I'm gonna feel a certain kind of way because that tells me that, oh, well, we weren't really as cool or you weren't really as authentic with me. Yeah, because there's a lot of people that are out there that will fake it, while it serves them. And then they will exit stage left when it doesn't serve them. And in the midst of it serving them, it could feel very genuine. It could feel very, like we're on the same page and we besties and we do all this and da 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 da. Think about how many times like, you had a really good friend that when they get into a relationship, all of a sudden you never see them again. Now, I'm not suggesting that all of those situations are they didn't value the relationship, but a vast majority of people have friends that are convenient. And when it's not convenient, then they out. And that's part of the reason why you see that slow ghost. It's like, okay, well, instead of either having a conversation about, like where we are and what I need or just honoring the relationship, they're doing them. And if you left in the dust, they're like, oh, well.
Reach the climax.
I mean, I would say this, like, I've had to be that friend who had to, tell a friend of 5+ years, that this friendship isn't serving a purpose anymore. And I've had to be like, like I thought it was like this, but your actions and, you haven't, telling people my business, things that we have on private conversations, you out there telling people my conversations, you out there, jumping in on moments that are for me, like I'm hitting on somebody or someone's hitting on me, and you just inserting yourself in and trying to, like just those like little petty things. And I have to tell them, like, real talk, I was like, that's not the type of friendship I'm looking for. And I think what happens is some people don't know how to have those conversations instead of just doing the when you're outgrowing. Like I don't think some people know how to do that. I'm one of those people because I stand 10 toes down on this, and everyone on the podcast, check the receipts. I like to make sure that people never have to wonder about what Jerrell thinks or how Jerrell feels about them, because that I'm the person that's going to tell you in a private conversation or in that moment how I feel, what I'm thinking, and I think there's a conversation and being able to teach people how to do it in a way that isn't harmful or in a way that just says, hey, it's just a matter of fact. This is just how life is. I'm sorry. I thank you. I appreciate, and I'm thankful for everything that we've been through, but
thank you for being a friend.
No, because that's a long-term friend.
That is true. Because he'd be the first one at the party.
Stage left.
Right? So, I mean, and to be honest, like even with that person, I mean, like the person got hit by a car, and I still send flowers. I've still checked up on them and everything like that. But we just not like that anymore.
Yeah.
Right. And I just let it be known that that's just how the friendship is going to be, and not even a friendship. We associates going further, going on, but I at least want you to be good. I at least want you, nothing but the best for you. But
I also feel like
this is
very indicative of conversations that one has either with themselves or with others as they get to a certain stage in life, because I think we start, especially as you get into like your 30s and then certainly in your 40s, you really start to be protective of your circle and yourself. You know
Mhm.
what you like, you know what you don't like, you don't put up with, the bullshit. And so, when people be coming around with that bullshit, whatever that bullshit was, it was cool at a certain point in time and you rocked with it. But at a certain point, you're like, okay, like we I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
We not doing this.
Yeah.
You can do that, but we not
Right.
doing this. And
But
to your point, there's varying degrees of skill as it relates to people having conversations or navigating those transitions. It's awkward. It really
Mhm.
is. And it's unfortunate when you've got someone that you spend quite a bit of time with. And if, let's say, you've outgrown that particular relationship or it's no longer serving a purpose, what is the thing that you as an individual should do? And there's no one right way, to advise people and say, okay, this is the way that you handle it. You have to just be authentic. You have to be yourself and, do what's best for you. And hopefully,
Mhm.
you can navigate that with a sense of tact and decorum and not lean into the negative to
Mhm.
make it easier.
That part.
Cause
Yes, that part.
that's the
Mhm.
thing that gets really tough is that
Yeah.
it's easier to villainize, it's easier to
Mhm.
downgrade, it's easier to pick a fight, it's easier to be petty about some stuff
Mm.
when you are the one that are having difficulty with the transition. It's so
Yeah.
easy because it takes the pressure off of
Off
you
of
and
you.
yourself and
Yeah.
it puts it
Yeah.
on them and it gives you license to be able to say, okay, well, this doesn't serve me any. And that's just
Mhm.
it's not real.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, community, let us know anything we missing. I don't know. We know how to talk, so I think we done every angle. But if we miss anything, let us know. We'll take a quick little tea break because the Ask Yo Aunteas is a juicy one. So we'll be right back. We interrupt this episode for very important information.
That's right. You've been asking for it for a long time, and we have heard you.
Yep, it's been a long time coming, but it's finally here.
Yo,
Yo,
aunties,
got merch.
merch! Hey, that's right. You know what? We got tees, we got long tees, we got sweatshirts, we got fanny packs, there's just a whole gamut of stuff out there. So go and check that out.
We are so appreciative of your love and support, and we are so excited to launch it. Girl, where can we find us at?
Ma'am, they can head right over to minorityReport.com to check out the selection.
That's right. That's MINORITEA report.com.
Woo! I'm about to go get me some myself. All righty, ladies. What time is it?
Ask your
Your
aunties.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Hang on to your horses on this one. It says, hey, aunties. I'm sure this is nothing new, but I would love your opinions and advice. Okay. Be careful what you ask for. I grew up in a predominantly Korean and South Indian neighborhood. My past experiences with other African Americans or Native Africans have always been, why do you talk like that? Why you act like that? Why do you look dressed like that? So I've always felt jaded within the community that I supposedly belong to. The past few years, I've been trying to reconnect with the community based on the assumption that these were just instances of mean kids being kids. But it often comes off like the gay black community is just as preemptively mean and judgmental. I've tried walking up and saying hi, smiling from a distance, and engaging outside bars, most of which are received very unfavorably. Because I'm a social creature and love dancing, I'm going to go out and do the most. And my internal dialogue when I see rolling eyes and stank faces on POCs is that their perceptions are based on the people they see me with, which usually are folks from sports communities I'm in. What's the best way to connect with the community that I've never felt a part of and have been feeling like they don't want me to be a part of? And then it says, P.S. I assume you want a little more info. Black gay male, cities of reference, Boston, Philly, New York City.
Okay. But what you said something about Korea? What was that?
So he grew up, or black gay male. So he grew up in a predominantly Korean and South Indian neighborhood.
Okay. Um, yeah, I feel like we've talked about this before. I mean, the truth is, Black people aren't a monolith, and I think even within our own community, there are still those struggles of accepting that, right? I mean, for instance, we were talking about Megan Thee Stallion like earlier, right? And even though she's a female Black rapper, she's also into things like anime and K-pop and other things that a lot of people, a lot of Black folks aren't into, right? And there's a lot of Black folks who can't even wrap their head around what other Black people are into that's outside of our culture, that's
Of the
outside of our
stereotype of the
community.
culture.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. So I say there, I'll say two things. One, and I feel like this is can say for most for most Black people, don't bring your ass up to random Black people. We don't like people in our space. Okay, I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that first. You will get turned around real quickly. Okay, you got to do the across the bar, like, okay, I see you, you know, like that. But don't bring your ass up straight to me,
Because it might be the energy.
you just right. It may be too much. You could be the sweetest person, might be too much, and so, it might just catch somebody off guard. So I would say ease up on people. Okay. The second thing I would say too is
That was the Capricorn talking.
It so was. So was.
You're right. The second thing I would say is too is just I would also try to find common ground with people. Like, you know, often when you're trying to relate with people that maybe you don't often surround yourself with, you know, try to meet people at their face value, at where they are, you know. I think that might help a little bit, but at the same time, I'm not wasting my time trying to be around somebody who don't want to make time for me. So maybe try to find other groups again, because we're not a monolith, right? We come in all shapes, colors, sizes, and heights, and all sorts of things, right? Just keep doing it. Just keep looking, baby. Honestly, keep looking. I wasn't until it was till I was what? I think I met you all when I was 29, 28 years old. So it was later in my 20s. And honestly, before meeting you two, I had a sense of like of almost community, but it was through, like this person said, a sport, through softball. But I really didn't hang out with other gay Black people just on the day to day. So if you're looking for friends that you can kick it with, be patient, because the people that you really want to surround yourself with, once you find them, baby, you're gonna want to invest and hold on even tighter to them.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
What do you think
That's
of
all I got.
I think the first thing that I would say is you're not alone. I know it can feel very isolating. We talk all the time, particularly about, you know, the gay community and, you know, being a, you know, speck of pepper and a sea of salt. But that analogy goes in a lot of different ways, right? And I think not that I'm suggesting that you're ashamed of your background or, you know, or whatever. I'm not, but I think the beautiful thing about diversity and about human beings is that we all have very unique experiences, and you are bringing something to the table that is unique to you, and that makes you a unicorn in a lot of different ways, and it's going to hopefully become your superpower and what makes you really unique. I understand and can empathize with and relate to the experience of um, not feeling um, totally embraced by the Black community, and the desire to want more Blackness around me. Um, it's odd because I remember living in Chicago and I was having this kind of self conversation about I need more Black people in my circle. And literally, like within a couple of months, I met Carell, and then a whole slew of other, you know, I'm just saying, like, you know, just one person, but like
Right.
the universe has a way of bringing to you what you need, and
Mhm.
as long as you're open to it, and aren't trying to force it. And kind of piggybacking on what Jerrell had said, just kind of like being friendly and being social and just kind of like going up to people is a strategy. And it can go a lot of different ways. But it's those authentic interactions that you find that you have with people that oftentimes matter the most. I'm not really particularly great at networking. I'm social. I love to spend time with people, but I prefer more authentic interactions, organic experiences than kind of like throw a bunch of people in the room and have a pressure cooker. So like for me, I've never gone out like out like by myself just looking to meet random people. I always go out with my friends, the people that I know. So I say that all that to say that you've got to give yourself a little bit of patience. And then if there's some things that you want to do to connect with the community, there's, just like there are sports, there are tons of other activities that are phenomenal opportunities to get to know other people in a very platonic and authentic kind of way, whether it's like a trivia night or, like a certain kind of meetup that's happening where there's a lot of people that are doing very much a similar kind of things. They're trying to meet other, people of color that are, that are looking to build friendships and things like that. My advice is just give yourself a break. Like, I know you want it, but thirst is not a good look, and you just have to be open and
And it's
receptive.
palpable too.
It,
Like
it,
you can feel
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
yeah,
People like, "Ooh, girl, what you do? You doing the most."
yeah,
Like they said in the comment, like in
It's
the
like,
post.
girl, sit down. And that's probably the stank face you getting. You're like, girl, sit down. You're doing too much. Because they feel it's forced almost in a way. But I agree with everything you two said. Like, give yourself the benefit of the doubt. I think there's many within the Black community have always felt like they're not enough within our own community.
Mhm.
And at least the older you get, the more you realize this shit don't matter. At the end of the day, it genuinely doesn't matter. It matters how you leave this earth. Like friendships and joy and love and happiness and being okay with who you are. Like, because I remember like growing up and like just like the the duality a lot of times of just my life of growing up in a predominantly white area and going to predominantly white school, but then literally every other night and day at a predominantly Black church, and feeling like not enough in both communities at times. Um, but I agree, over time, you attract who you're going to attract when you're just genuinely being yourself. And I remember just growing up, like, I mean, I had white friends, Black friends, Korean friends, all friends, but then like some of my core friends over time have been all creeds,
hmm
and that's cool. So take pride in growing up in predominantly Korean and
I
South
want to be
Indian. Like,
because
because
I
hold on, let me
I
finish. Let me
I,
finish. Let
I
me
just
finish
want to
that
say
thought
just
before I lose
representation,
it.
representation. It does
That's not
matter,
where I was going though.
but I think that's what that question is getting at. That's what I just wanted to clarify.
Would you wait? Say that again.
Because
Representation in what
you can
regard?
tell that this person is looking for representation within people that look
Right,
like
right. But
themselves.
this is where I was going to get to. Because when you grow up with the different representations like that you might not maybe feel all the way part of because you want to grow your Black friends and things like that, you're able to bring that along the way and find folks that might either have that same thing, grew up in a similar situation, and seeking the same thing. So that's where I was going to get to, because there's going to always be folks that have, like us, a lot of, like, at least I know Luan and I have talked a lot about just growing up in predominantly white areas and finding people that you connect with that had a similar upbringing and be like, oh, well, girl, I was trying to like grow my Black friends too, because like, and then connecting on that dynamic of feeling whatever you're feeling or being involved in whatever you're being involved in, things like that, but then still being able to be like, well, guess what? This is where I grew up, and this is what I still bring that might be a little different than what you bring, and things like that. And that's cool to have that in your friend group, because there's things that you learn. Like, man, I didn't even know that even existed, or I didn't even know what that was, or I have never had that Korean dish. Take me to your hood. Like, I want to try that Korean spot, or I want to try that Indian spot, whatever it may be. So there's always a way of still wanting to feel represented and see representation. But I feel like once you kind of just let go of the pressure of it, that's when it comes to you, similar to what Dewan was saying. Um, so yeah, I take the pressure off, and then next thing you know, you're gonna look and be like, oh, hold on, like I am part of this community because I attracted what I needed to attract. But then also just don't feel ashamed of what you bring to the community as a whole, because like you said, we're not a monolith. So whatever that unique flavor that you have now, that's distinctly you from what you grew up in, you could bring to quote unquote the Black community, is what I was trying to get to.
Can I just interject just a point about like the stank faces within our own community, like because we just like everybody else. We just like everybody else. So like, even though we're part of this community and can be double, triple, quadruple, and eight-druple minorities, we still are in the US where, we have like a us versus them kind of, like, we grow up with so much of us versus them that it's you're going to find it. And so but that's not the totality of the community,
right?
And there are tons of just amazing people out there all over the place, and it's gonna take time. I understand wanting to build that community and wanting to be a part of something more, and it will happen to a certain degree. Just don't be jaded by the rejection.
And don't buy into like all the stereotypes of our community just because you might not have grown up in it. Don't let that perpetrate.
Because I see what y'all are saying, but I feel like the person is looking for a sense of community within the Black community specifically. I don't think, based off of them growing up in a Korean, mostly like Indian community, that the issue is knowing that there's other. I think the issue that they're looking for is that representation of seeing someone that looks like them. And that is something that is very absolutely important. And I would never encourage or say, hey, like, just open yourself up to everyone, because everything ain't for everyone. And sometimes what you're looking for is in a specific area. Right. And so I understand if a person is like, hey, I am looking for friends who just simply look like me. And I think, and when I see this question, I'm thinking more of that, not necessarily because, again, this person don't know any of the one that they're going up to. They just see that they're a Black person. So when I see this question, I'm thinking that this person is just literally looking for just Black representation, another Black person to talk to, right? And for me, I think in order to do that, I think there needs to be a balance of just being open to different types of Black people that exist out there. But I don't think the answer is just opening yourself to everybody else, because everybody ain't Black. So if you're specifically looking for Black friends, which that's what I got from this question, then I would encourage you to just make sure that you're putting yourself in spaces where there are more Black folks that are just across the board. Maybe it's just not Black spaces where you're at a bar. Maybe you're going to, like someone said, trivia nights. Maybe you're going to, tech meetups like Afrotech or something along like maybe you're going to other events where there are other Black folks at. Because if someone doesn't have a sense of the community, especially if they're looking for Black folks, like we have each other. We see each other every week, right? But outside of you two and the one person that I work with, I don't often see another Black person here in Seattle, Washington. Do you get what I'm saying? So I understand where someone might be coming from, where the importance of being around other Black people alone is something that's very important to just who you are as an individual.
Yeah, no, I think it's an and situation, because like if that's the case, I would have never met Dewan. because I met Dewan on a team that had everybody on it. It had Arab, had white, had black. Trying to think who else was on it. Oh, a Hispanic. Like that team, we had the UN. I don't think about on that team. But my
Not the
point
UN.
is, I was open. It was the US. Seriously, one time we had a lesbian on it. Like we had everybody on the team. But my point is, I was open to whatever the universe brought me in, and literally found one of my best friends that's black, and going through Chicago, and everyone kind of mixing on that team. Ended up meeting another Arab that was friends with a lot of black people. That's how I met Jerrell. And so I think yes, sometimes it has to be specifically. I need to just go and put myself in more black spaces. But also there's other ways to be like, oh, wow, I'm connected through maybe someone that isn't black, that might be Arab, that might be Hispanic, might be whatever it may be, that also has black friends that I can connect to. And I trust this friend group because I'm around them, that they're going to bring around good people that I can connect with. So,
absolutely.
So I think that's where we're kind of going more towards than just saying, oh, we're fine with everybody. No, like you trust maybe the friend groups that you're already in or have associations with to be like, oh, hold on, you got a black friend? Let me check it. Let me scope this person out. Ooh, I fuck with you. And that's what the universe is telling me, is bringing to me, because I'm putting that energy out there that I really want to connect with my community. So,
I would just add real quick. I would just add that my point was really so that this person doesn't feed into the discouragement. That's all. You're going to find people that are, not going to get you, whether they're black or not. And so, but recognize that that's not every single person that's out there. And I deeply, deeply, deeply understand what it feels like to feel not connected. And want a sense of community, and specifically want a sense of community within the black community, and feeling discouraged because of that. And, I just want to affirm that, just like we talk about a lot of other things, it gets better. You just have to be persistent. You have to find out things that work best for you. You have to find opportunities to put yourself in situations that might be a little bit uncomfortable. Like to Jerrell's point, find something that is all black, find a bunch of things that are all black, and go to them. Like he said, Boston and New York City.
And Philly.
And bunch of black people in them cities. We ain't talking about Seattle to
we ain't talking about like Tulsa, Oklahoma,
right? we're not talking about this. We're not talking about the boondocks. So also the other thing that I would say is, listen, one of the reasons why we call our listeners and people that dial in and ask questions the community is because that's something that's important to us. It's creating community. And so if you're struggling with, finding community IRL in real life, virtually, there is a huge community of folks that are here, so look at people that are commenting on our posts. Look at the people that we're calling out. You got the aunties that are literally right here, start engaging, within the community. This is a community. This podcast was started because we are not a monolith, and we have different experiences, and we wanted to make sure that there are different voices and perspectives out there. There's a lot of, like traditional Black culture podcasts and talk shows and things like. We bring something different, and in the same way, you bring something different too. So I would encourage you, like, if you're looking for a common denominator, we got the community right here, so reach out, make yourself known. Like, if you're not into social media, get in those comments. Get in them comments, start. If you like something that somebody says, hit them up in the comments, shoot them a DM. It doesn't have to be sliding in a DM, but if you want to slide, flip and slide.
Oh my God, could y'all imagine like our first community relationship? Ooh. Like how cute that would be.
I wonder if it's already happened. They ain't telling us.
I know that would be cute. That would be cute. But I was gonna say, like, you actually answered my question, because like for me, I grew up in predominantly Black areas, neighborhoods, and cities, right? And so for me, everybody, like every day was Negro Day where I grew up, but like it was just
Yeah.
like that. So that was something I never really experienced. But for me, as someone who grew up like that, the idea of that being something I had to struggle with, like, scares me. And that was one thing about moving to Seattle that was actually really hard for me, which was that, like, I have to be intentional with finding my community. And
Yeah.
that rejection is very hard.
Yeah.
And I wish I could give like sounder advice of how to be better at that. Because I tell you, I met plenty of Black folks here. It just didn't work out.
Yeah.
It just simply
And that's fine
didn't work
too.
out.
Everybody ain't
Right.
supposed to be for you.
Yeah, right. But I will say one thing, and I'm sorry, baby, this is very, very shady, honey.
Uh-oh.
But if you're looking for a community, don't call us African. Nigga, say Black. Say I'm trying to be friends
That's
with
so
other Black
true.
people. Don't be like, I want to be friends with African Americans. Nigga, what?
Nigga, what? Nigga, who? Come on, Tracy.
Like,
Because we only,
and
I
they said
mean, we
Native
don't-
Africans, bitch. Black and Africans, bitch. Just keep it as is. So I think you might need to just
Yeah,
understand, because
you
if
need
you
to
writing
update
us
the
like that,
terminology.
yeah, baby, if you approaching us like that, like I said, and you coming in strong,
Yeah,
baby,
that's why they got the
it's a
stank
no for
face.
me.
you come up and say, yeah, I'm looking
Look,
for
Mom,
African
Americans.
Why did that clip? I forget the names, but it's the political pundits talking, and it's the one guy talking about wearing the MAGA hat and going into the Cheesecake Factory, and then the other dude's laughing, and he's like, Don Lemon says, "You look like you got something to say." He goes, "Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why that dude going to the Cheesecake Factory."
Cheesecake Factory, yes.
That is such a othering
Look.
experience.
Oh my god, that's funny.
It really is.
And honestly, thank you for being vulnerable, because
Yeah.
I'm sure writing this sent to some Black people could have been like,
here we
"Damn,
go again.
I didn't niggas gonna read me."
Let me tell you, I can hear
So-
him like typing this to the Moesha, like diary music.
Right.
Dear aunties, I've been
Honey,
having a hard time.
seriously,
Hang out
yeah.
with me.
But no, the vulnerability in this piece is
Yeah.
thank you, because you could have kept this to yourself and still struggled. So hopefully we gave you a little insight, a little guidance that could potentially help you out. Maybe give us an update in a few months, 6 months from now. Be like, hey, you know what? This is what I've been able to do, and it's allowed me to feel a part of the community, or whatever it may be. So continue to send your questions to aya@minoritetyreport.com or DM us, and just keep it, just to let y'all know, this is also for entertainment purposes too. So we ain't like psychologists and all this shit, doctors and shit. So take what you want to take with a grain of salt if you need to, and don't become suing us and all that
Look,
shit.
cherry pick out of it what you need. Pick out of it what
Take
you
what you
need, and throw the rest away.
Period.
I have to say, you know, now that we're on this side of COVID, it has been an absolute pleasure getting to meet so many listeners and community members in real life. Like, to go from like, you know, like comments under posts to DM messages to like, you know, like flying off memes at each other to like, oh, I'm gonna be in that city too at the same time. Would you be open to meeting up? And being able to
I know
meet
a couple
people in
people
real,
got my real number.
it's
Like,
just
damn.
it's just such a beautiful experience. And you know what this person raised in their Ask Your Auntie question, like, I can't say aloud enough, like, if you're struggling, this is a community for you. You're already here, you're already part of it. You got on the podcast, so you know, like, there's a ton of people here that are just open and authentic and willing to forge those relationships, even if you're not in the same city or the same country.
Yeah. That's real. Well, I think we'll end it on that one. That was a good ending note. Anything else on your hearts and minds?
No, that's all I got. I feel like I said enough. I felt bad.
Well, community, make sure you tune in next week, because we got a cool ass guest. And wash your hands, wash your legs, wash your ass. See you then. Bye.
Bye.